I recently did a talk at the Melbourne Business School with MBA students who are interested in breaking into product management. I thought I'll share some of my key notes from this talk on what is it actually like being a product manager and their 4 core responsibilities. How do you build a career path into the world of product? And lastly, how do you actually get started so you can land that first product role? If you're new here, my name's Teresa. I'm a product director based in Melbourne, Australia. And on this channel, we explore strategies and tools that keeps inspiring us to keep growing in our product career. So let's jump in. What is it like being a product manager and the responsibility? So I used to hear a lot about people saying that being a product manager is like being a mini CEO of a company. However, being in the product space in the last 10 years, I think the idea of a mini CEO has formed a few bad habits. Firstly, people need to ask for permission rather than collaboration. There is this behavior of control which I've seen over the years by PMs that need to know what everyone is working on rather than building trust and collaboration. This leads to people being scared and always asking for permission before working on a particular task, which creates a culture of fear and limited autonomy, therefore drives low team engagement. The next one is enforcing authority bias rather than focusing on solving the customer problem. Because of the title Mini CEO, I've seen PMs taking on this sentiment and acting as I'm in charge of this team, rather than thinking on how you're going to lead this team through an empowering and inspiring way. Therefore, a lot of overruling of ideas and solutions are being made just by one person rather than hearing other people's opinion and being open to collaboration. Not truly addressing the customer problems, but based on biased opinions from their own experience. And lastly is skipping validation while being solution focused. I've seen this happen a lot where PMs throw solutions at their team rather than giving them a deeper context and thoughts into the outcome and the problem, and leaving the team a driving discovery phase rather than them leading and guiding the team through it. I think that product managers are more like entrepreneurs. We are more innovative thinkers, not saying that we are Elon Musk, but we need to be innovative in the way we solve problems, identify opportunities, and being very, very resourceful depending on the size of our company that we're working in. We need to be embracing uncertainty and being willing to take risks to achieve the vision. A lot of the times at PM, there is no guarantee 100% that you will solve the problem immediately. We need to continuously iterate to keep trying and using methods such as prototyping and experimentation in order to increase our confidence in how we're going to solve our customers' problems. And the last one is flexibility and pivot to adjust strategy to respond quickly. We work in a fast-paced environment where things will change and our ways of working are set up to quickly adjust and pivot if required. However, we still use effective prioritization methods and objectives and key results to ensure that the pivot is worth it. So here's a high-level overview of what is a product manager and their 4 key responsibilities. I won't go too deep into this topic as I have another video that gives you a detailed breakdown, which I'll put in the description below. So, a product manager is someone who ensures your team is building the right things to solve the customer's problem that will provide value to the business. Their 4 key areas are owning the product. You need to understand what product you are building and what you're owning, who is the target customer, what are their problems they currently encounter, who are your competitors in the same landscape, and how do you measure the success of your product. Next is connecting to the bigger picture, where there is a vision that determines why, connect it with a strategy that tells us what are we going to do about it, with a set of key objectives and key results to measure your progress, and an effective prioritization technique to ensure that it's outcome driven over output. The third one is about discovery and delivering to solve the problems, being able to identify opportunities, ideate, collaborate, facilitate with cross-functional teams, rapidly use techniques such as experimentation, prototyping in order to deliver value incrementally. And the last one is leadership. Empower and inspire your team across the business and build capability that creates an environment where people can do their best work. Improve processes and practice to amplify better ways of working and build belief and cohesion with positive relationships. Now that you know the high level of these 4 key responsibilities, so how do you start building that career path towards it? A few years ago, I listened to one of Lenny's podcasts where someone had a great way of describing how they approach a new career path or continuous growth. I will share that podcast in the description below as well. Essentially, she spoke about using the 3 E's. Experience, that is about learning on the job. Exposure, what else can you do to get exposure to the opportunity and to learn? And lastly, education. What are the courses or fundamental things that you need to learn? This is how I have structured my career path into product. Like many journeys, going into a new career path isn't linear. So my journey from a business analyst into product had a lot of side steps, ups and downs, and around. You can also check out my video that I break down a bit deeper into how I got into product management as a business analyst. I focus a lot on what I called finding leverage to learn more. This is essentially looking around for different resources and people in order to level up myself to get closer to the product responsibilities. So I started mapping out what my current job offers that can increase my learning across the 4 key areas of product management. That's through experience and exposure on the projects and my day-to-day interaction working closely with a product manager. Then I looked at extending the exposure to see if anyone in the company could coach or mentor me further into the world of product. Then I looked at any side projects or startups that I could actually work outside of my working hours to give me more hands-on experience. And finally, the education side, any courses or fundamentals that I can learn from any courses online or any meetups that I can find. The most important thing is about putting theory into practice. The reality is that being in product, it can differ from theory, and you need to keep practicing so you'll get better at validating ideas, finding shortcuts via experimentation, and able to identify gaps quickly around influencing and collaborating with cross-functional teams. So let's take an example. As an engineer, if you look at your current role today, you should know a lot about the product that you're building on, the goal and the customer problems, because you'll be working closely with the product manager. You may not know how to connect to a bigger picture, but you certainly are there to help set the objective and key results within a cross-functional team. Now, discovery and delivery would be a strength of yours, as you will be in there day to day to better understand what is the problem that the customer currently have and how will you solve it and what were you building towards on your product. From a leadership point of view, you will be working with cross-functional teams where you need to bring and empower and inspire those around you. And you should be helping your team to create an environment where they can thrive daily. Look at another example, someone from marketing. You should know what the product you are promoting to customers. Know the problems that the customers have and how will you market to them. Additionally, you should understand the competitor landscape, how customers also solve problems without your product today, and how this will help you set up your marketing strategy. Connecting to the bigger picture, you may not know so much on how, but just like engineers, you might be across the objective and key results that the team are setting, as you should be part of achieving them with the product managers. Discovery and delivery might be quite less exposure and experience. However, you should be invited to the discovery kickoff to add your inputs and know when things are about to get delivered so you can get ready for that go-to-market plan. And lastly, leadership. Similar to engineers, you'll be working with cross-functional teams where you can empower and inspire those around you. Let's look at one more example, someone from customer service. You should know the product that you are supporting your customers on if they have inquiries or problems. You are at the forefront of the company, therefore you would know mostly a lot about the problems and opportunities that we can further develop on the product. You might not have so much exposure into connecting to the bigger picture. However, you should also be involved in the discovery kickoff or workshop to bring your inputs around what are the major customer problems you are seeing that's increasing the volume of support. And lastly, as a leadership, similar to marketing engineering, you'll be working with cross-functional teams where you can empower and inspire those around you. Now, with all these examples, all you need to do is now look at how you can learn more about product through other ways of extending your experience, exposure, and education. So let's start your journey now into the world of product. The first thing you need to prepare for is your mindset. The top 3 mindset for a product manager requires you to be curious. This is really about digging into the why behind the customer problem and the solution sometimes people provide you. Make assumptions, but always find ways to verify. Being customer empathetic. Put yourself in the shoes of your customer by using your product and find those emotional frustrations and joy that they go through, understand why and what is causing it. And last, have a passion for learning. We are always learning and growing in product, whether it's learning new domain knowledge, rapidly moving technology landscape, or growing scale of your portfolio and team size. But it never stops if you want to move into the world of product. So let's land that first product role. Here are 5 tips that have worked for me in the past. This is purely based on my own experience and may vary for different people. Tip number 1, look for opportunities within your company. Share your goal and ambition with your leaders and peers to see if there's any opportunities, or even ask them to see if you can do a 3-month trial in another team that will give you more exposure and experience. Find roles within your domain in which you have experience rather than try to go outside. This will give you a best chance or advantage to be much more competitive when you're applying for a junior or an associate product manager role, as it will give you that competitive edge that you don't need to relearn the domain, just need to skill up as a product manager. This could be one less thing that the company worries about. Tip number 3 is tailor your resume or CV around your experience and exposure you've had with product managers. Use words such as discovery and delivery that mostly align with the ask of the role that you're looking for. This way, people understand that you have been exposed to that kind of ways of working, which makes them feel much more comfortable that it can be quite a fast and rapid pace environment. Tip number 4, get out and network. If you want to break into product, there are many Slack channels and courses you can tap into. There are meetups, and there's a whole bunch of world of LinkedIn product managers that you can message. Tip number 5, be patient. Unfortunately, due to the environment that we're currently facing, with many layoffs across the tech industry, you may need to know that the volume of applicants applying for roles is much, much higher. So the turnaround time will be quite long to get to hear from recruiters. However, there are still a lot of demand for product managers, so just be patient because you will eventually land that first role. Overall, if you want to start this journey, make sure you find ways to keep leveling up across the key responsibilities. Take a moment and look around you because there are no shortage of resources and opportunities if you want to make the move today. If you find this video helpful and inspiring, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Also, if you have advice or comments to help people on this journey, please share in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.